Good evening. Happy Monday. This is Jennifer Helm, the Faithful Stamper. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Hello, Thelma. Thanks for tuning in. I hope everyone had a good day today. I'm going to give this just another minute to let people hop on. Hi, Sandy. Happy Monday. Thank you for sharing, Thelma. And since you ladies tuned in early, I will give you the first sneak peek of the Mystery Monday card. This is a simple little technique that I learned many years ago from a stamping party that I attended. And I have kept this design on a piece of paper. I kept the card for the longest time. It might actually still be floating around somewhere. And I decided to break this out again. You guys have to let me know how the lighting is. It looks a little bright and washed out on my end. I'm trying to adjust it a little bit. I need to get some new lamps for my table. Hi, Mom. So we will go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining me for Mystery Monday. Today is December the 7th. And here is our Mystery Monday card. It is very simple. I kept the inside even more simple. But this is a quick little technique that you can use for any occasion, and as always, I have options for you, so you can mix and match. So we will go ahead and get started. There were not a lot of supplies needed for this card. It is mostly scraps of paper and adhesive, stamps, and ink. So our card base for the evening is Misty Moonlight. This is one of our in colors. And it is a piece that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored on the long side at 4 1/4, so what I call your standard card base. And the first option that you have is on the front panel. I recommend a piece of Designer Series paper that is 2 1/4 inches wide by 5.5. This one is actually going to run the length of the entire card. And then for your other two panels, I gave you an option in your supply list. You could use a piece of coordinating Designer Series paper, or you can use embossed cardstock, which is what I did here. This is our Winter Snow embossing folder, which I'll be talking about again in a few minutes. And these are 1 1/8 of an inch wide by 5.5 long. I decided with this particular card, none of the cardstock or Designer Series paper that I had, I thought it was a little busy on the card front, so that is why I opted for the embossed cardstock. So this is a very simple step. You're going to take your card base. I tend to work sideways on this particular card. You can work however you're comfortable. And I'm going to start with my two narrow panels. So I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal Plus, and I'm going to line my strip of cardstock up on the very edge. So along the edge of the card, I usually match up the corner and then align the rest and give that a press down. And I'm going to repeat the process with the second strip of paper. And that piece is going to go right up along the fold edge. So again, I just match the corner, try to position it before I get it too much stuck in place. And again, smooth that down. And then next, I'm going to take that strip of Designer Series paper and glue it right over the top in the middle. It is going to overlap just the very edges of my cardstock strips. So again, you can use whatever combination you feel works for you and the Designer Series paper that you have picked. I will show you some options that you have when I get to the samples. And so this one I just line up right at the top, make sure it's even, and then press down. So before I finish the front, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the inside, which I kept very simple. I stamped a sentiment, and then I added a strip of the Designer Series paper to kind of carry the design inside. And let's see. All right, my scrap of Designer Series paper has wandered off, so for the moment we'll just put the insert in. I'm using Real Red ink. And the sentiment here says, "May the Christmas season bring you special moments and happy memories." And I'm going to ink that up. I just re-inked my ink pad here so it's nice and juicy. Hopefully not too juicy. Yep, there we go. And then once I find that strip of Designer Series paper, I will just glue it to the top. You could do one at the top and the bottom, or if you have a stamped image that you like, accent the corners. I did that on some of the samples I'll show you. But I opted for the strip of Designer Series paper, so this will just get glued to the inside of the card. Oop. So quick and easy. A little more adhesive. And put the insert in the card. Obviously, if you have a light colored cardstock, you could skip the insert and just stamp directly inside the card. And then one last step to finish the front. You want some kind of graduated size shape, whether it be a die cut or a punch in various sizes. I opted for our layering ovals, and I kind of played around, and I decided I'd like this size for the front of the card. I'm using one of the sentiments from Itty Bitty Christmas. So I previously cut my die cut, so I have ovals in 3 different colors, with white being the one I'm going to use on the top. Should have left my ink pad open there when I was just using it. And quick little stamp there. Joy to the world. Close up my ink pad since I'm finished with it. And now I'm just going to layer my sentiments together, or my die cut shapes and my sentiment together. You can pop these all with dimensionals, you can layer them flat, it is really up to you. I have decided that I'm layering the ovals together, but then once I have them all together, I'm going to pop that on the card front with some dimensionals. Since these ovals aren't too large, I'm just going to use 2 of the large dimensionals. Much larger shapes, I'd use 4. 1 on each side, just to make sure it's not going anywhere. And you can position your sentiment on the card wherever you like. You know, you can go straight centered in the middle, dead center, up, down, left, right, whatever you like. So I just kind of float it around till I'm happy with it. I think I'm going to go here towards the top left. And then 2 more things to finish it off. I have some of this sweet little ribbon from the Pampered Pet Suite, so it doesn't actually coordinate with the Christmas set. This is from the Coming Home suite that we have. But it was red and white and cheery, so I thought it went with the card. And I'm going to fumble my way through a little bow here. We'll see how well I do. Not too bad. You can obviously skip this part if you don't want to put a bow on it. I know not all my cards have bows. Depends on what ribbon I have on hand. So I'm just going to trim the edges. Move that out of the way. And then I use a glue dot to attach my little bow. And I'm just going to accent the sentiment that I put on the front. So I put a glue dot right on the bow, and then I'm going to press that right to the front of the card. And then I want to give it just a little something. So I have some rhinestones. And I decided to use clear ones, which have juggled their way through my case. I like to keep my embellishments labeled in an empty stamp case. So I keep all my rhinestones together, all my pearls together, and that way, if I know what I'm looking for, I can go right for it. So a handy little tip for you. Oop, now I got all my rhinestones out. So I decided for this card to use the rhinestones in graduated sizes. So I'm going to start with a larger one on the bottom, then go to the next smaller size, and go up, and then the smallest. And you could easily use the same size rhinestones for all of them, same size pearls, whatever you might want to use on your card. So there we have it. Quick and easy, right? And you can see this will work for a multitude of occasions. This is Christmas, but you could use this for birthday, anniversary, get well. You'll see all those samples here in a minute. So I purposely kept this one simple tonight. I know everybody's starting to get busy with lots and lots of holiday things to do. But this card is quick and easy. It uses your Designer Series paper scraps, and it doesn't take a lot of work, but it still looks fantastic. I love simple things that really make you say, wow. So, and as I said, this idea has been floating around for quite a while, but it was fun to pull it back out, dust it off, and make some cards. So now let's get to the samples. I didn't overload you with Christmas this time. I decided to play with some fun paper. These next cards, and don't forget to do your envelopes. I wanted to show you real quick. For these two cards, I embossed the envelope flap with the Winter Snow embossing folder, so it echoes the card front. So that is what I did for that. So on this first sample, I actually used Christmas paper, but it's not a Christmas card. This is some of the Designer Series paper for the Poinsettia Suite. And I went a little larger with my sentiment. I used these stitched ovals. I would not go a lot bigger. This is the largest of the ovals that we have. And so I just did the 3 largest. If you want a smaller sentiment, I could have used the 3 smallest. And then I used pearls down here at the bottom, and I used my Tasteful Textures embossing folder here. And I just wanted to show you, as I always do with options, it's all about placement and color. On this card, I decided to go with 2 of the stitched ovals instead of 3. And I reversed the positioning on the pearls and the sentiments. So even though this is a fairly simple layout, you can play around with it and have some fun. So for this card, which is just the garden green cardstock and 1 piece of Designer Series paper, for this other next card, I used the same paper, but instead of cardstock, I used matching Designer Series paper on the outside. So you can just see how the cards use a lot of the same supplies and the same look, but look very different. And then depending on your point of view, you might want to skew your sentiment a little bit. I tend to be a straight-on kind of girl. It really depends on the card, whether or not I kind of go cockeyed a little bit. So it's totally up to you and what design plays best for your card. But you're not limited to ovals on your sentiment piece and your layering pieces. This card, for example, I went with the stitched circles. So this was a fun one. I feel like it needs a little something here. I'm sitting the fence on what I'm going to do there. And I will say I wasn't the largest fan of the circles here, but they work. And I think it was just the paper. Because on this card, I love the circles. And again, you have options. And so this is a sneak peek of some of the new Designer Series paper that's coming in January with Celebration. And if you're not familiar with Celebration, Celebration is in January and February, and when you place an order of $50 or $100, you get to pick a free product with every order. And there's no limit, and there's lots of options to choose from. So lots of fun. You can't beat free stuff, right? So here's this Cheery Little Daisy paper and circles. So as you can see, any occasion will work for these. And I have more sneak peeks of designer series paper. And again, different looks based on where you put your sentiment. And I just reversed the colors on these layers. So as Thelma pointed out, a great use for scraps, whether it be your cardstock or your designer series paper. And then again, you can change up the look simply by putting in cardstock instead of the designer series paper. Hi Chelsea, happy Monday. Thanks for hopping on. Now on this card, I actually put the designer series paper on first, and then I put the strips of cardstock on the outside. It's just a slightly different look. You can't tell a whole lot of difference versus putting the designer series paper on last, but it's just another option for you. And again on these, I embossed the envelopes to go along with it. Embossing your envelope flap is a great option, as well as stamping them or putting designer series paper on the flap. My motto is no naked envelopes. I like people to see the envelope in their mailbox and say, ooh, what's in here? All right, and just a little bit more. Again, here is one that I did a little cockeyed. But on this one, I only went with one piece of designer series paper, and I decided to stamp the edges. So before I glued the paper down, I used the pattern play set and just repeatedly stamped these little hatch marks along the sides, and then I covered it. So it's actually blank in the middle, but you can't tell because of the designer series paper. And put some little pink rhinestones. And on the inside of this one, since the front says cue the confetti, we had to have the confetti on the inside. And not the kind that makes a mess either, just little confetti bursts. And then I echoed those on the envelope as well. And then again, like I said, you're not confined to your ovals. You can experiment with different shapes. And for these, I used the Stitch Triangle set. And I couldn't let the girls have all the fun, so I made a manly version as well. This paper is a lot of fun. Nice, bright, geometric prints. Great for teens or young adults, or anybody really. And so, just a fun little birthday card. And so those are all my samples, but I do have something very important to share with you ladies that I would be remiss if I didn't share. Starting tomorrow, December the 8th, we are having our year-end closeout sale. It goes into effect at midnight Central Time tonight. And I have lists that I can email you of products that are carrying over into our next annual catalog, which comes out in June. That's our big idea book and catalog that lasts for an entire year. And then we have some products that are retiring for the moment, but will be back again next July when the Christmas catalog comes out. Chelsea, I see what you mean. That does kind of give the hint of water there on that last card. Good idea. But year-end closeout. So December the 8th through January 4th, while supplies last. That's important. Some of the products that are retiring are on sale, 20 to 50% off. Yes, 50% off. We rarely have sales where things are 50% off. So one thing in particular I wanted to share, and I mentioned it earlier, but the Winter Snow embossing folder, which I used on that first card an envelope, and hopefully you can see this embossing here. This is on sale at 50% off. It's $3.75. How awesome is that? So if you don't have it, get it. A lot of the ribbon is on sale, as well as some of the designer series paper, die sets, some stamp sets. A majority of this catalog is retiring. So if there's something you like in here, get it quick. And again, if you'd like to see the carryover list and the retiring list, let me know and I'll send it to you in an email. It's just a little too much to post on my Facebook page. But it's a fantastic time to pick up some of your favorite holiday products and get them on sale as well. Things will sell out, so if there's something you really have your heart set on, don't wait too long to order. And as always, here is my website, thefaithfulstamper.stampinup.net, and my December host code is here, 47MS4AAE. If you are ordering and it is less than $150, if you use this code, you will be entered to win a prize for the month of December. I put everyone who orders names in a bowl or in a prize wheel and spin it to pick a winner. Miss Thelma was the lucky winner for November, so thank you. And your prize will be coming to you soon. But if you are ordering over $150, do not use that host code because you basically host your own party then. And so you get the benefits the same as if you would have me in to do a demonstration at your house or online. So, just wanted to share that crucial information with you in case there was anything you wanted to get as an early Christmas present for yourself. So that is all I have for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will be back on Friday night with my regularly scheduled Facebook Live at 8:30 p.m. And then I will be back here next week at the same time, 8:30 p.m. on Monday for Mystery Monday. If you ladies make a card with this technique, I really hope you'll share. I love seeing your creativity. Have a great week. I hope you have time for lots of crafting. And thank you so much again for joining me. Take care, ladies. Happy crafting.